The second I stepped on stage, I felt like I was home. God chose stand-up comedy for me. I did not choose it because I was so shy, Christy, that it's like not even funny. I came out last year as LGBTQ, pansexual. I was so scared to come out. I was in the closet for like over 20 years. I know it's the 2020s. Nobody cares. My ex-boyfriend literally tried to kill me. You know how they say some people are a chapter, some people are the whole book? That was his role in my story. Religion's all about love and acceptance. You can have faith no matter what your background looks like. I'm here to give this gift, and if you laugh, you laugh, and if you don't, you don't. But I'm here to give you this gift. Everything goes back to God.
Welcome back to In Bed with Christy Love, the podcast where we go beyond the headlines, beyond the social media profiles, and beyond the public persona to discover who people really are. So let me tell you about today's guest. She is a comedian, writer, speaker, dear friend, and world traveler, Rosie Tran. Now, can I just say this? If you know who Rosie is, you probably know her as this funny, fearless comedian who's performed all over the country, written books, successful career in entertainment, and inspired people through her storytelling. But can I just say this? This is what surprised me about this conversation. This conversation, we barely actually talked about comedy. Instead, can I just say this? We went deep. We talked about the experiences that shaped her, the struggles that most people don't ever see, the emotional wounds that, can I just say, that don't ever show up in a resume, and the extreme personal journey that led her to become the beautiful woman that she is today. Oh my gosh, she is so amazing. So let me just say this. There were moments in this interview that genuinely caught me off guard, okay? There were stories that I have never heard before that she never told me. Also perspectives that I did not even expect, and conversations that reminded me that sometimes the most fascinating thing about a person isn't what they've accomplished, it's actually what they survive. Oh man, this is one of those episodes where you start by learning about a comedian and end up learning about the human being behind the laughs. So get comfortable, lean in, and let's get unhinged. This is Rosie Tran. Rosie, I'm so glad that you're here. Yes, I remember, I just want to say this. You mean so much to me.
Aww.
And this is, I remember, well, we actually met at Stevie Mac's comedy show.
We did.
Yeah, and I remember like I was up there, I was like so nervous. I was like, I think I was like 2 or 3 months into comedy, and you did so phenomenal. And I remember you coming up to me afterwards, and you were just like so kind, and we were able to like trade numbers and interact, and you helped me also like get connected to other like bookers, like with Jeff Hodges. So I'm like, I can't tell you how much like you mean to me. I tell my husband all the time. I'm like, I tell him, I'm like, Rosie means so much to me. Like she, in my beginning of my, and I'm still a beginner, but you like really blessed me. So I just want to let you know, like, thank you so much for, you don't know how much you impacted me with your kindness and helping me out. So
that's really, really important. I think it's so important to be kind in Hollywood, especially in stand-up comedy. I noticed that when I started doing comedy, which was many years ago, a lot of female comedians were very competitive, and they still are.
Yeah.
And I noticed that it didn't feel good, and it just felt yucky. And I think there's enough room for everyone, and especially if someone is trying. I mean, stand-up comedy is so hard already.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
it's so hard. Yeah. So I just think that it's really important to be kind to each other, especially women. And I think a lot of women in comedy, I notice, they're like fake supportive. Like they'll be like, oh, women should support each other. And then they'll like stab you in the back and you're like, oh my God.
Oh no.
So I don't like that. And I think it's just something that's really, really important to me. And I always give with no expectation back. Like I literally give with no expectation. And there's so many people that I've sadly helped in this industry, and they've gone on and they've forgotten all about little old me, and that's okay. No, it's okay. Because that's not the purpose. Like I don't give to get back. I give because I have a heart that has love in it. So I think that when you give and and someone doesn't give back, that says more about them.
Yeah,
So I feel like you have a really big heart, and I felt that energy the second I met you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. What you say, you're true to your word. And I love that about you. So being in the comedy world, you mentioned that there are some female comedians that have kind of, I guess, kind of backstab. What kind of contradictions have you had as a woman comedian with other women comedians?
Yeah, so I guess that was a harsh word. I wouldn't use the word backstab, but I reel that in. But I feel like there's definitely a competitiveness, a cutthroatness that's really unnecessary,
Yeah.
And I think it comes from a place of fear and lack. And I think a lot of people, especially women, believe that there's not enough seats at the table for everyone. And I understand that more than anyone else. I don't know what year it was, but I was a regional finalist in season 6 of Last Comic Standing, which is the year Eliza Schlesinger won. And I was an LA finalist. I made it to the Improv, and I ended up not moving on as a finalist. And I think about a year later, I was shooting a television pilot, and I met a woman who had worked at NBC, and she goes, "Oh my God, you're Rosie Tran." And I said, "Yeah, how do you know me?" Because I wasn't famous at all or anything. And she goes, "Well, I actually worked at NBC when the season you were on, and I was rooting for you." She was an Asian woman. And she was like, "I was rooting for you, and I wanted you to make it." And she goes, "And I want you to know it had nothing to do with your talent." She said, "I was in the room when they were trying to decide who to move on. And Esther Koo, who's a friend of mine and I love, who's another Asian American comedian. She's Korean American. She had a development deal with NBC, so they wanted to move her on as a finalist. So NBC felt that there wasn't enough room for 2 Asian females. And I think that's awful, because Esther and I are so different. Our comedy is completely different. And so I think a lot of times people feel legitimately like, oh, there's not enough room at the table. But I just don't believe that, because Esther's so different than me. I'm so different than her. She's hilarious. I'm hilarious in different ways.
Yes.
And I just don't like that mentality, even though in that situation, it really was a competitive situation where they thought, oh, the only one Asian female can move on.
Yeah.
But I don't like that thinking. I just think it's very limiting.
Yes.
And I just believe that there's, 8.5 billion people on earth. There's enough comedy fans to like Esther Koo and Rosie Tran and Christy Love.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah.
Oh, wow. So knowing that, how did that make you feel?
It felt devastating. It was very tough, because I know Esther and I'm friends with her. We actually did a podcast together years later.
Oh.
Yeah. Called Hello Crypto Kitty, where we both talked about crypto. And she's a friend of mine. I love her, and she's awesome. And she's actually on tour with another Asian female comedian right now, doing the Sweet and Sour Chicks tour. So, but at the time it was really, really heartbreaking. I was like, it felt limiting. It felt like, oh, the industry only thinks there's room for one Asian comic, girl comic. Mm-hmm. And it just felt really yucky. But I know now that has nothing to do with me. I've had a lot of lessons like that. And it's kind of like dating, right? Like, a lot of times you date someone, I'm happily married, but you'll date someone and they aren't interested in you. And you're like, oh, there's something wrong with me. And sometimes it's just not a match. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's something that I think a lot of entertainers, comics, actors take it very personal, like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. But really, it's just you're not a match, you're not a fit, or someone on an executive board is, or some producer thinks there's not enough room. But there's totally enough room.
Yeah, absolutely. Has there ever been a time in your career that you felt like you weren't enough, you weren't worthy? Like, I don't know if you've ever felt like that.
Yeah, all the time. I think if you don't feel like you want to quit stand-up comedy at least once or twice a year, you're not doing it right. I mean, it's so hard. And stand-up comedy is one of the only, I think, art forms where you're constantly proving yourself. I think as an actor, you can build up a name. But comedy, they don't care about your name. There's a documentary comedian with Jerry Seinfeld, and it's him trying to do stand-up again after, Seinfeld, he retires from Seinfeld. And you see him bombing really bad in the documentary. And that's because when you hear the name Seinfeld, it's really, really impressive for 5 seconds. And then the audience is like, okay, are you funny?
Oh,
It doesn't matter if you're Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh,
it doesn't matter if
wow.
you're Chris Rock. It doesn't matter if you're Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle. That buys you like 30 seconds. And then they're kind of like, hey, what are you saying? Is what you're saying funny?
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So when you're in the zone of maybe feeling like I don't feel worthy, I just feel like giving up. When you're in that mindset, how do you pretty much get yourself out of that mindset? Like, and say, you know what, I'm going to keep doing it, because how long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing stand-up comedy now. Let me think about this. This is horrible. 24 years.
Wow. Oh my God. They say Asians don't raise it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
Asian does raisin. This is Botox.
Oh, wow. So, okay. So when you're in that point, because I think all of us as entertainers, we have all experienced like, I'm done. I just want to quit.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're speaking to someone who's in that position, what would you say? What's your story? How you just kept going for 24 years?
So this is going to sound super woo
Okay.
and super corny. And this is not something that I would have said even 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But my faith is what keeps me going.
I love that.
I'm not just saying that because I know you're a pastor.
Oh, yeah.
But it is one of the reasons that I resonated with you. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on your podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I love that you're a pastor. I absolutely love it. I love that you're a pastor. I love that you're in the adult industry. I think that's very authentic. What I hate is people that are on a high horse, you know, claiming that they saved themselves till marriage, claiming that they XYZ.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But claiming that the only way to have faith is to be pure and clean and perfect in every single way, because that's not actually what any religion is about.
Yes, yeah.
Religion is about, we're messy, we're human, we're sinners,
Yes.
and we can still have faith and still try our best and still try to get on the path. And I was atheist for many, many years. I grew up in a very religious household, and I turned away from my faith because Hollywood can be a very dark place.
Oh, no.
And it can feel like there's nothing out there. Like there's no God. It's so easy to feel like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. You know what? You just preached, girl. Oh my gosh. That was so good. That was so good.
So true.
Yes.
It's so true. And especially Christians. Like Christians drive me crazy because, I posted, so I'm pansexual and I came out last year as LGBTQ pansexual.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I came out on
Okay.
Instagram and I had immediately a lot of support, but I also had people coming out of the woodwork. I had some guy that posted on my coming out post, which by the way, I was in the closet for like over 20 years. I know it's the 2020s. Nobody cares. But I grew up in such a religious conservative household. I was so scared to come out. I was so scared to come out. And I posted it and I got a lot of positive feedback, but I did have someone leave a comment on there that was like, you need God, you need the Bible. And I was very offended by that because every single person that is chosen as a person of faith in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Torah, is a person that questions God, who's falling away from the path and saying, God, show me the way.
Yeah, that's so true.
They're all rebellious.
Yes.
None of them are sheep. They're all like rebellious, like, what is happening? Right? And also it says, God will judge, not you, guy on the internet.
Yes,
God, the Almighty, the all-being, not you, Mr. Whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at whatever Instagram. And this guy was like, you need God, you need the Bible, basically bashing me because I came out as LGBTQ. And I was like, you know what? That is something that just drives me crazy because you can have faith no matter what your background looks like.
Yeah.
And I think that, that is what religion's all about. It's about love and acceptance. So I was very kind of put back by that. But yeah, my faith definitely, like I said, I was atheist for many years, like a diehard atheist. Like there's nothing out there, science. And that too, like a lot. I believe that science and faith were against each other, and they're not. And it's actually a physicist that kind of convinced me that there was a God.
Wow, really? So wait, so I need to hear this story. So how did you come from hardcore atheist to, okay, now I believe? What's that story look like?
So it wasn't a direct path. It wasn't an easy path. It was a slow path. And what happened, so my physicist, so I was in college. I was very, very atheist, and I was dating a physicist at UCLA. And I was atheist and he was religious. And I was like, are you an idiot? I said, how can you be in science and be a physicist and be religious? And he goes, Rosie, do you even know what physics is? He goes, physics is like the study of nature. It's a study of the universe. He's like, it's basically the study of God. And he goes, I don't know how you can be a physicist and not be spiritual. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was like a little bit, like shook me a little bit. Right. And then just so many horrible, horrific, bad things happened to me, Christy, like insanely bad things, like insane that I don't know if I'll feel comfortable talking about all of them on the podcast, but I've had some really, really, really bad things happen to me. I've been assaulted. I've had just so many bad things. I was in an abusive relationship for 2.5 years. And every single bad thing that happened to me, Christy, turned into a positive times 100.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, all right, you got my back. I see what's happening here. I see what's happening here. And it was a lesson. And again, it sounds so woo, but it was a lesson.
Wow.
Every single bad thing, every single bad thing, even things that happened to me when I was little. I was teased. There were so many things that happened to me that now I would not trade $1 billion for. I would not trade $1 billion for.
Wow.
I want that pain and suffering because it led to so many spiritual growth things that I could never have, right? There's that Garth Brooks song, Thank You God for All My Unanswered Prayers.
Yes.
Where he says, thank you. You knew I had no idea. And that's how I feel. It's like my abusive relationship. I was in an abusive relationship for 2.5 years. My ex-boyfriend literally tried to kill me.
Whoa. What?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And if it was not for him, I would not have met the love of my life. I would not be where I am now. And it wasn't because of him, but this is so silly, but he bought me a dog.
Oh,
that was the one good thing he did. That was the one good thing he did. And I was an animal hater. I was a hater.
What?
I was a hater, Christy.
Oh, I'm an animal lover.
I'm an animal lover now, but I was a hater. I said, I don't know why you got me this dog. I hate dogs. You know, I don't like dogs. I told you I don't like dogs. And he goes, well, I bought you this dog. And he left, right? This is my abusive relationship. And the first night I had the dog with me, she sat next to me. She put her little paw on me. She was a little puppy. And she looked up at me. And I think I was like 23 years of dog hating disappeared in 2 seconds. And I said,
wow.
I said, okay, I love you. I said, fine.
Yes.
I love you. I'll be your mommy.
Oh, that's so cute. Wow.
And I fell in love with her. She brought me to the dog park. The dog park, I met this amazing woman who introduced me to a personal development class. At the personal development class, I met my friend Svetlana. And through Svetlana, I met my husband.
Wow.
For 16 years and is the love of my life and is an absolutely amazing person. And I wouldn't be who I am without him.
Wow.
And none of that would have happened if I had not met my ex. Now, I don't want to see him ever again or have a relationship with him, but that had to happen in the puzzle piece because I never would have bought a dog on my. I hated dogs, Christy. Like I thought they were disgusting. I thought they smelled bad. I hated dogs. I never would have bought a dog on my own.
Yeah. What kind of dog was it?
She was a Jack Russell Terrier. She's passed away now, and she was the sweetest. That was another thing. He opened up my heart to animal love, even though he wasn't really an animal lover. It was like a weird, he just like, he would always say, you're a dog lover, but you don't know it. And I said, I don't think so.
Wow.
And for some reason, that was his, you know how they say, some people are a chapter, some people are the whole book. Mm-hmm. He was that chapter and that chapter was over. But that was his role in my story.
Wow. Yeah. That's such a great analogy. Wow. So do you have any new fur babies?
I do. I've had multiple fur babies. I have a schnauzer. I had a schnauzer that passed away 3 years ago who was my child. Aww. And then I have another Jack Russell Terrier right now. And I love dogs. She's a rescue. Oh. And dogs are such a huge part of my life now. Mm-hmm. And the love and companionship and friendship and unconditional love that I've received from them. I don't want to say it was worth the price of being with an abuser for 2.5 years.
Yes.
But it makes it better, and it makes me understand why he was part of my story.
Wow. Oh, that's so amazing. Okay. So, I want to ask, you just said you came out being pansexual.
Yes.
Okay. So how did your fans handle that? How did your husband handle that?
Yeah. So I think my husband always knew, when we got married, I told him I don't remember 100% that we had a conversation about it, but I think that he was aware of my sexuality. But I had only told up until that point, and I was like 41 when I came out, one person in my life, and that was my my high school friend who was bisexual. I had told her when in high school, and then I had kind of kept it in. I did have a girlfriend in college, like a girlfriend, not like a girlfriend.
Okay, got it.
I did have a girlfriend in college, but nobody knew about it. I had kept it to myself. And my fans, everyone was very supportive. My family was very supportive. And
even your family as well?
So my dad has passed away.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, thank you. And my sisters and, everyone knows. I don't know. I don't talk about it openly as far as like, I don't want to stir the pot, but it's out there on my social media. No. So whoever knows.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not going to bring it up at the family cookout and have some cousin, some like distant cousin tell me, that I'm going to burn in hell or whatever.
Oh, no, yeah.
And actually my therapist recommended that. He said, you don't need to go around, gay pride flagging it at your family reunion or whatever, but it's out there.
Wow.
And my husband's very supportive. We haven't really crossed that bridge, but as far as like having, it's not like we're living in like a polyamorous triad where like there's another woman in our house or anything. Okay. But he's very supportive.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, awesome. So, so not poly, are you guys monogamous? Are you?
I guess we don't know because I just came out last year. So
wow,
I don't know,
okay.
But I know that he's my person and I'm not going to leave him and I love him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I love that. Let me ask you. So, I mean, this is juicy. I'm learning so much more I didn't even know about you, but I am pansexual too. So I like totally get it.
Yeah. So you'll have to share how it's navigated. I don't know.
Yeah. I think being in the adult industry
helps.
Yeah, absolutely helps. It helps me like learn what I liked, what I didn't like, and things I probably would never consider trying because I also grew up in a very hardcore Christian household. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I actually like this.
I thought it was a phase. I think the reason I didn't really come up for a while because I thought it was a phase. But there was a lot of things like I didn't know what I was. Like when I was a little girl, I thought maybe I was trans because I had a lot of masculine feelings. And I think it was just my attraction to women. I think I was confused. And so, and I wanted to be like a boy for a while and I was like a little bit of a tomboy. So it's been a journey for me. I think I really was unclear. And I think that how open people are and kids are now sexually because being LGBTQ is so accepted now versus when I think we're around the same age. Yeah, when we were growing up, that I think that it was just really, I didn't have the language to really express what I was.
Yeah. I think it would have been so much harder if we opened up like maybe 15 years ago. Like, oh my gosh, the hate and endurance. But now it's like, we're...
Yeah, and I think pansexuality and bisexuality, it's a little confusing for people because I think it almost would be better if I was just a lesbian woman because it would be... People like to box you into an identity. Yeah, and I think it's very hard for people to understand. I think I'm very hard for people to understand. I'm pansexual. I'm happily married. I'm, very spiritually based, yet I'm, it's just people want to see conservative, Christian, religious. That's one category. Open-minded, LGBTQ, that, like they want to separate you into different categories where science is over here and atheism is here. And if you're religious, you're over here and you can't be. And I think that there's people that are all sorts of everything.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I remember I was listening to another podcast you were doing, and I thought this was so unique because as I'm learning, like, we know each other, but we don't know each other super deep. But I'm realizing how much we have in common. And one of the things that really stood out was that you were shy. The thing is, like, even for me, I was very shy, and I kind of feel like I wonder if like that's an Asian culture kind of thing. Where did you feel like your shyness stemmed out of?
People say that a lot. I've heard that before, right? But my sister wasn't shy, and she's Asian, and she grew up in the same household as me. She was very bold and outgoing, and I think some of this maybe stems with the sexuality thing. It's like I didn't really know who I was. Not that I was confused, but I just was like, I'd never really fit in. And I grew up in the South. I grew up in New Orleans, and New Orleans is a very, very diverse place.
Yeah.
But it's also can be racially segregated. And so it was really weird because I had white friends and things were not segregated like only white people talk to white people, only black people talk to black people. It was very mixed, but people tended to group together with who they felt comfortable with or who had a similar background. I don't think it was a racial segregation thing though. And I felt like white people that I grew up with, they didn't see me as white, but they didn't quite see me as black. So I was kind of like a ninja, right? And then when I would hang out with my black friends, well, I wasn't really a white person. So they felt comfortable saying things around me, and the slang is they felt comfortable inviting me to the barbecue, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't necessarily one of them. And so I think that I didn't really, like I said, people like to box us, but also when you're young, you're trying to figure out what box you do belong into. And I never really fit into any box. And so I think that my shyness came from not having the confidence to own who I was. And now that I'm older and I'm like, okay, I know who I am and I know I don't fit in any box and I'm totally fine with that. And I think that allows me to be myself, but I still get very, very shy. I'm still very shy.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You are so powerful on stage. I do not believe it. So when I heard that, I said, what? Is this the Rosie Tran that I know?
Yeah, I don't even tell people I'm a comedian.
Really?
If they meet me doing stand-up comedy, then obviously I say, oh, I'm a comedian. But if I meet someone out, like if I'm at a dinner party and they don't know me, I never tell people I'm a comedian.
What do you tell them?
I'm just like vague. I'm just vague. I go, oh, I'm in the entertainment industry. I don't know. I feel like there's an expectation, like when I say I'm a comedian, that to be funny. And I'm just very like socially awkward until I get to know people. I know you, I'm comfortable with you. So I can, people say, well, how can you're on a podcast, people are watching you, but really it doesn't feel like I'm on a podcast. It feels like I'm talking to Christy.
Yeah.
And the same thing on stage. I think people don't understand, for me, stand-up comedy is vulnerable, but it's also not vulnerable because there's a separation. The audience is the audience and I'm the performer. And so even though I am being very vulnerable, there's a separation, right? The lights are dark and the spotlight's on and you can't really see everyone in the crowd. And so I think it's a fake vulnerability in a way.
Wow.
People think comics are so vulnerable because they're sharing everything, but really there's a protection because you're separate from the audience, right?
Yes.
It's different than, laying in bed and being completely vulnerable with like a lover or something.
Yeah.
Performance.
Yes. So do you feel like the Rosie that is on stage is different than the Rosie that is off stage?
I don't. I think it's my alter ego. So it's me, but like on crack. Yeah. No, I get it. Because I feel like me not on performing as like Christy Love, I feel like I'm much more quieter in person. I'm more soft-spoken. And then when I'm in front of the camera, I'm like loud, boisterous. Yeah. So yeah, I get it. I did this podcast where I was thinking, you know what? I think who I am as the performer, Christy Love, I always wonder, like, if I didn't go through all the trauma, all the pain, all that kind of put me in a shell, would I be so free to be the Christy Love on stage
24 hours a day, like, I don't know, is that something, how do you view yourself like with your alter ego? Do you feel like maybe some of that is like the life experiences kind of put you in a shell, and for some reason as a performer, it just releases that? Or do you feel like your alter ego is just definitely just a separate person?
So, first of all, before I answer your question, I want to say, just in case, I might need a tissue box. And second of all, I did not realize we were going to be talking about God so much on this podcast.
I'm so sorry.
But everything goes back to God. So to answer your question, I don't know how to answer your question, but I will tell you a story and see if it answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things I always say is that God chose stand-up comedy for me. I did not choose it because I was so shy.
Wow.
Like, so shy, Christy, that it's like not even funny. And like my mom would be like, hey, go up to the counter and ask, we'd be at the mall at like Panda Express. She'd be like, go ask the lady for a counter. And I would just sink into the wall. And like go up there and I'd be like, and the lady would be like, hello, like, do you speak English? Like, what's going on? And this wasn't when I was a child. This was like, as I was growing up and the second I stepped on stage, now it wasn't funny right away. That took like 5 years. But the second I stepped on stage, I felt like I was home.
Wow.
And so I feel like, and I had never stepped on stage. Let me just say that I was not a performer, okay? I was like a shy little girl. And even up until my 20s. And the moment I stepped on stage, I just felt so comfortable.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, and that is not a unique experience. I've talked to so many stand-up comedians, and a lot of the comedians I know have a similar story. Mm-hmm. Oh, I used to watch Carson, or I'd watch Jay Leno, and I always wanted to be a comedian. I would write jokes growing up, and I watched Eddie Murphy Raw and all this other stuff. I never did any of that. I didn't even know what stand-up comedy was.
Wow.
So when I stepped on stage, and I just felt so comfortable. Again, I wasn't funny right away, but I felt comfortable, and I even felt comfortable bombing, which is something that comedians hate.
Yes. Wow.
I was like, this is part of the journey. And so, and at that point, I still wasn't spiritual again. I was still in my atheist phase, but I just felt such a warm, loving energy surround me.
Wow.
That I was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Thank you for sharing that.
I don't know if that answers your question.
No. Yeah, definitely. I know you mentioned that you went from a phase of transitioning to being confident in who you are. You mentioned that earlier. Can you tell me, like, how did you get into that transition of like, this is who I am, like you're confident in who you are?
Well, I think it took many, many, many bad things happening and then seeing the other side of it and all of the protection that I had, the spiritual protection that I had from God or, the universe or whatever. But I do remember a very, very specific transitional period. And I think it was about, I can't remember the number of years, but it was at a show. And I switched my mentality from taking to giving.
Ooh, that's deep.
And so for many years, I was a taker in stand-up comedy. And what that means is that I wanted validation from the audience. If I had a good show, I would feel good about myself. If I had a bad show, I would feel bad about myself. And that it's a very taker mentality because you're kind of sucking the energy from the audience. You want laughter and you want validation. You have to give it to me.
Wow.
It's a taker mentality. And a lot of comedians have it.
Wow. Whew, that's deep.
And I don't remember what happened, but I just flipped one day and I said, it just hit me. I don't know what happened, but it just hit me. And I said, oh, I'm not supposed to take from the audience. I'm supposed to give. And I think it was on my spiritual journey. And I did a show, I do remember this, at Sal's Pizza on Melrose. And nobody showed up. There was like 4 people in the audience, and everyone wanted to cancel the show. And the comics were like, there's 4 people in the audience. And I said, hey, 4 people came out and they paid. We should do the show. They're here for a show. So every comic went up there and did the same thing. Like, no one's here. This sucks. And blah, blah, blah. And the crowd was not having a good time.
Oh, no.
The audience was just blaming the audience for being whatever. And I had switched into that giver mentality. And I'm like, you know what? These 4 people paid like $20 to be here, and I'm going to give them a show. And so I went up, I did my full act as if it was like 100,000 people in the theater, and I had a blast and I had so much fun. And they got out of their shell because they were very uncomfortable because the comics kept blaming them. They kept saying, oh, that sucks. No one's here. And they were like uncomfortable. And I gave them a show, and I had a great time. And after the show, they came up to me and they said, and the woman said, I don't know if I've ever had so much fun with 4 people in the audience. She's like, you were awesome.
Wow.
I was like, oh, thanks. And I felt great, and they felt great. And I had a blast with 4 people in the audience. And every other comic was like, there's no one here. It sucks. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have a blast. Because that's what comedians are here to do. We're here to make people laugh.
Yes.
And these 4 freaking people drove out. I think it was raining or something. You know, in LA, no one goes out if it rains. And so that's why no one was here. And I just had a blast, and I gave it my all. I gave to them, and they, I think, felt that. And so now I do that, I think, and I come from a place of giving. It's like these people are here to have a show and see a show, and it doesn't matter if there's 4 people or 10 people or 100,000 people. I'm going to do the Rosie Tran show and do my stand-up and make them laugh.
Wow. Wow. That is so powerful. And I totally agree with you. That as a performer, we just need to have the mentality of giving. Who can I give? Because I realize you never know who is in the audience that is about to commit suicide that night.
Yes.
And I've heard so many stories. Like, I'm always like listening to other comedians and their stories. And, or like one incident I've watched, like a reel from Matt Rife, and people just saying like, you know, you saved my life. And I'm like, what the heck? Or Joan Rivers, she mentioned like people would come up to her at the end of her show and tell her like they were about to, you know, commit suicide. So it's like, wow. So I think as a comedian, we're actually kind of saving lives.
We are. That's a real thing, Christy. Like, you don't know how many shows I've done. That's another thing. So I used to, when I was the taker, I would always feed off the audience. And I would say, well, that person's not laughing at me, so they must not like me. I made it it's very selfish. It's very self-centered. Yeah. And I remember I did a show, it was at Universal City Walk there used to be a club called the Rumba Room upstairs. I think it's like just a restaurant now. And this guy was frowning. He was frowning the whole time. He wasn't laughing at a single thing I said. And he came up to me after the show. He goes, I just want you to know I really enjoyed you.
Wow.
And I said, oh, thanks. I said, can I ask you a question? He goes, sure. I said, why didn't you laugh? He didn't laugh. He was frowning, he had his arms crossed. I said, why didn't you laugh at me? And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. He goes, I just had a really, really, really horrible day, a really tough day. And you brightened my day. He goes, I wasn't smiling because I had a really tough day. And so if I was coming from the taker mentality, I'd have said, well, he didn't laugh at me. What's wrong with him? Why wasn't he laughing? But he actually enjoyed the show. Wow. But he was just having a bad day. It wasn't about me. Yeah. And so by coming from a giver mentality, I'm going to make the crowd laugh. I'm going to bring joy. I'm going to spread laughter. It doesn't matter if people laugh. It's just about me giving them the gift. Wow. And a lot of times people take the gift, but they're just, for whatever reason, they're having a bad day. I did a show where this lady, her dad died that day. Oh my gosh. I mean, you just don't know what's happening in people's lives. And it's so selfish to be like, well, why did they laugh at me? Maybe their mom killed themselves that day. I don't know. Yeah. You know,
no, so it's true.
So when you switch that mentality from you need to laugh at me to I'm here to give this gift, and if you laugh, you laugh, and if you don't, you don't. But I'm here to give you this gift. Then you just let the gift be what it is.
Yeah. No, that's so powerful. Oh my gosh, that's like my biggest takeaway so far. Oh my gosh, thank you.
And sometimes, Christy, sometimes people enjoy you, but they're just not laughing. Like, sometimes I'll see a comedian and I'm really interested in what they're saying. And it's a good like story. And I'm like, oh, what are they going to say? But maybe it's just not a laugh out loud joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it doesn't, because you don't hear, we're such, as comedians, we need like feedback. We're like, oh, we need people laughing. But just because someone's not laughing doesn't mean you're not entertaining them. You're not making them think. You're not interesting to them.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel like most of your jokes come from real life situations, or do you feel like you have to, I don't know, make it up?
I think it's 80-20. So 80% is based on real life stuff that's happened to me, and then 20% is like a little exaggeration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I love it. Let's see. Let me ask you, do you feel like that comedians become comedians because they're confident, or because do you feel like it's actually from a root of maybe being like through the trauma or emotional damage that we've experienced through life? How do you feel like comedians, how do they come out like in their confidence level?
So I think that it's both. And I want to be very clear why it's very dangerous to reinforce the stereotype that comedians are damaged people. Because it feeds the stereotype of the tortured artist. And I think prevents healing. And I think I think that we're all in a spiritual journey, and comedians are just magicians, and we're able to take the pain and make it into something interesting. And Louis C.K. has a great quote about it. He says, you know, there's plenty of depressed guys that deliver bread, but no one cares about them. So we're not the only depressed ones. Okay, is what I'm saying, is that there's a lot of depressed people out there because it's a tough world. And we're just able to transform it, and we're out on podcasts talking about it, and we're out on stage talking about it. And so there's a trope that comedians, you know, we're damaged, or that we have mental issues or emotional problems. And I think it's represented fairly across all populations of people, but we just talk about it. We're very vocal.
That's good. Awesome.
But I am serious about the tissue, Holly, because I feel like Christy is going to make me cry any minute now.
Oh yeah, if we have tissue.
Because she's asking like all these really deep questions that I'm like, okay, Christy, don't make me cry on the next one, honey.
Oh, this is so good. What's the biggest misconception people have about funny women?
I think that the biggest misconception that people have about funny women is that we're damaged, like you said. There's right. It's like, I'm sure you've heard of the hot crazy matrix, right?
What? No, actually,
you haven't?
Not. What is that?
So the hot crazy matrix is like this thing that went viral a couple of years ago, and it was basically like the hotter you are, or the more attractive you are as a woman, the more crazy you are. And this guy has a chart, and he's basically like, going through and saying like the more hot a woman is, the more insane she is. And I think that's very toxic too. And I think there's a toxic stereotype that women that are attractive can't be funny. And I think that's very toxic. And the logic goes like this. Oh, if you're an attractive woman, you've never had to deal with any struggle or strife, so therefore you can't see the humor in things. And I think that is just awful. It's just awful, because I think that if you're a human being, you can see the humor in things.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It doesn't have to, how someone looks doesn't determine if they can laugh or not.
Exactly. And I think it's just like a hatred thing. I do think that there is a lot more hatred towards women that are funny than men that are funny. And I think it's because I think women are viewed more sexually still, even though we have brains and a voice. I think that there's still a lot of that old programming that people think that women should only be viewed as certain things, or it's kind of like the stereotype that women shouldn't be sexual after 40, or that women shouldn't, that you need to cut off all your hair and become a grandma, and you can't keep your appearances up, or things like that, and that your time to be sexual is over. Only women in their 20s and 30s can be sexual. And I think that there's just so many outdated stereotypes that are still existing, which is insane, because it's the 2020s, and some of them were like from like the 1600s. So
Yes, yeah. Wow. No, that's good. I don't know if this is true for you, but do you ever feel like comedy is secretly therapy for people who refuse therapy? Because I know for me, like I use comedy as my therapy. I mean, I've gone through a lot of trauma as a child, and I realized reprogramming my trauma by laughing at it rather than dwelling in like, oh, this happened to me. I hate my life, and go to that downward spiral. I felt like when I started to like start listening to comedy like long time ago and started quietly trying to come up with my own jokes, right? I realized that now is being able to change my mindset to be like, wow, now I can kind of ease in my trauma or the pains of my life and kind of find humor in them. I don't know. How is that for you?
I think that using comedy to reframe trauma is insanely healthy and is a very natural response and a very healthy response.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people, like you said, spiral into self-pity, depression, anxiety, and they don't look at it like something funny. And I think life is hilarious. I think God has a hilarious, if sometimes sick sense of humor.
Yes, I agree.
Or ironic sense of humor, I would say. But I think that it's, for me, I wouldn't say that comedy is a therapy, but I would say that it is a way for me to be empowered.
Wow.
And I have jokes. I don't know that you've heard all of my material, but I do have jokes about being in an abusive relationship, and I have jokes about being, bad things happening to me.
Yeah,
I have jokes about my dad dying, and I think that that's very important to use it as an empowerment tool so that you don't end up in the gutter crying.
Yes, yeah.
You're in the gutter laughing.
Yeah. You know what I would do if I'm having like a really shitty ass day, right? I'm just like, if you've ever woken up and you're like, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You know what I do all day? I just start tweeting every single negative thought that I have, and I just try to make it with a comedic punchline. Some of it's funny, but some of it's horrible because I'm still in practice mode. So that's something like I've done in like trying to convert like my mentality and trying to find the humor of things.
But that's what comedy is. Like, a lot of people don't understand what comedy is. And I mean that very literally. They don't understand what it is. And what I mean by that is people that get offended, that, oh, you shouldn't joke about that. You absolutely should joke about that. Is what comedy is. So something that is heavy and dark, that's why they call it making light of something. When you make light of something, you're taking something that's heavy and you're putting it in, you're releasing it. And that's why people laugh, because it's a release.
Wow, right? You're so deep, Rosie. I'm like, the way you're explaining things is like profound, like mouth dropping to me. Okay, keep going. No,
it's true, but that's what laughter is. Laughter is a release, right? It's a release of energy.
Yes.
And so when you laugh, you're letting out something toxic.
Yes.
And you're letting that energy out. That's why people that repress stuff, they hold it in and they get cancer and they feel sick and they feel bad and they get gastrointestinal. I mean, this is real stuff. This is not me like being like, ooh. If you hold energy in, you get stomach issues, you get gastrointestinal issues, so you have to let it out. And so when people are offended at things, they go, oh, well, you shouldn't make light of something like that. You absolutely should make light of something like that. You should make light of racism. You should make light of fascism. You should make light of domestic violence. You should make light of all of that stuff, because that is how you empower yourself to take it back.
Wow, that's so deep. Wow. Do you feel like when you started 25 years ago to now 25 years later, do you feel like the crowd is a little bit more uptight?
Yes.
With
absolutely.
Wow.
That is something that I don't like about woke culture. I definitely love people, opening their minds up to different minority groups being repressed and other things like that. And obviously I'm a minority, I'm a woman, I'm LGBTQ, but I do not like the the idea that nobody should be offended and that we can't hurt people's feelings and microaggressions and things like that. I don't like that language, because I feel like as long as the humor is not hateful, I think that it is okay to make fun of ourselves. It is okay to make fun of other cultures. It is okay to make fun of all the bad things in this world, because if we take things too seriously, we've let all the evil win.
Wow. 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 I mean, you have like so many drop the mic moments right now. I'm like, I just need a drop the mic moment right here.
I feel like you're just being nice to me because we're friends, Christy.
No, I'm serious. I really feel like that was really profound.
Thank you.
Yeah. Whew, okay. We have to keep. Wow. Let me ask you, what part of yourself do you feel like you hide behind humor, or is there any part, or maybe none at all?
I don't think I do, but I've had people tell me that. And like I said, I've had people say, oh, you should take things seriously. You're hiding behind humor. You're making light of something you shouldn't. I've had people say that. I mean, humor can be a way to distance yourself from something uncomfortable until you can process it. So I may have, used it in the past to hide behind, but I think ultimately it's a really healthy coping mechanism.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Laughter. I hear laughter. Laughter saves lives.
It does.
So, yes.
It's the best medicine.
Yes.
It's just really good for you. I mean, I don't have the scientific studies off the top of my head, but I know that I've read many studies about people that I'm really into like relationship stuff, and I read a lot of relationship stuff, and I know that relationships where there's more humor, people take things more lightly, there's less resentment, there's less anger, and it is very healthy.
Wow. That reminds me, when we go to, like, when I've seen you, I see how wonderful your husband supports you. Does he also help like manage anything, or he just is a supporter?
He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's my business partner. We own a production company together. He's my therapist. I have a real therapist, but he's also my therapist. He's very supportive. He sells merch for me at shows. He's just a very supportive person. I wouldn't say he's my manager, but he definitely is my business partner, and he helps me with a lot of my business. But that said, we're definitely partners in life and in business. It's not like, like I know sometimes there'll be a husband that's kind of like the puppet master, and the talent or the actress or the comedian will be just like at his whim. I think we're true partners. It's not like he's like managing me and booking things for me. It's more like we're partners. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because I've always wondered. I was like, I think I should ask now.
The thing I love most about him is he's not jealous.
Wow, that's great.
I was with someone previously, actually the guy that was abusive, and we wanted to do projects together. We shot a pilot together. He was an entertainer as well. And he was just so jealous. He was jealous of any success that I had. He wasn't, he only wanted to elevate me so far as he was elevated. And I think that that was a very toxic dynamic.
Yeah, that is. Whew, well, you know what? It worked out for the better. Let me ask you, growing up Asian, was there anything that taught you to be ashamed of, that you realized, I really don't need to be ashamed of this?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I don't know if it had to do with necessarily being Asian, or if it had to do with growing up in a very dogmatic religious environment. And it was my sexuality. And I think that there was, they never said you should be ashamed of your sexuality. That was never said. But there was definitely an energy around sexuality. There was definitely a sexual conservatism that I felt very strongly. I was engaged when I was in high school, and I had lost my virginity to my ex-fiance. And I was told, and I strongly believe, that you saved yourself for marriage. And that once that was over, that you were trash. So when my fiance cheated on me and left me, even though it was 100% his fault, I, at 18 years old, which is something an 18-year-old woman should never, ever experience, felt like I was trash. I felt like I was used, and I felt like nobody would ever want me.
Wow.
And that is the toxic, I think, very toxic part of religion and sexual conservatism.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's so deep. Yeah, I agree. I felt like I was taught, well, one, I couldn't be expressive of my feelings. And also for the longest time, thought like being homosexual was an unforgivable sin. I thought, because I was taught that from the church, like all of them are going to go to hell. And then I realized when I started reading the Bible, I was like,
I was about to say, when you said that, I was like, that's not in the Bible.
Yeah, I was like, it's not an ultimate, it's not an unforgivable sin. I understand there's a lot of things that the Bible say, and again, here I stand firm, and I don't like to twist what the Word of God says, but I think that people think that certain things that the Bible calls sin is unforgivable, like being in my career, in my industry, you have committed the unforgivable sin. I don't care if you say you love Jesus, all I can focus is that sin that you have. And I kind of realize that I truly don't believe there's a sin greater than Jesus going on the cross to die for our sins. I don't think there's any sin greater than that. I just feel like if you accept Jesus, he accepts
that's the message.
Yeah.
That is the message, and it gets distorted by people. Christy, when I tell you I turned away from God, I was so atheist. When I would hear the word God, I would cringe.
Oh, wow.
So disgusted by the thought of it, because I felt so controlled, I think. Sexually, emotionally, I felt very controlled by it, and I felt so dirty. And if you read the Bible, if you understand the Bible, if you understand that every single person Jesus chose was a rebel, was going against society, the book of Ruth, every single, what we're taught is not the word of God. It is different interpretations from different people that want power over you. And I think that is different than what is taught in the book, which is love your neighbor.
Yes.
God will determine and judge you, not your neighbor.
Yeah.
Not the guy at Denny's. Not the guy that says, well, Christy Love is an XYZ.
Yes.
Right? That person has their own sins, and they're projecting their own hatred and bigotry onto you.
Yeah. Wow. That's good.
And if that's how you want to express yourself, who says that God wouldn't be supportive of that?
Yeah.
That is an expression. There's a lot of things that are, I think, taken to people's own interpretation.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we accept that, the Old Testament would, or what people would interpret, you shouldn't do this, and then we're doing it, like eating meat, or back then we were, I guess, in the Old Testament, it was like, don't eat meat, don't eat anything like that, and a lot of us are eating meat, except for the vegans.
Also the definition of sin. The definition of sin is a misstep. It's a misstep from God. It doesn't mean you're irredeemable.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you're so far lost, so far gone. It just means it's a misstep.
Yeah.
It's a misstep from God. And so I think religion has been co-opted by a lot of people that really, really want to control others. And that's the saddest thing, because that's not the purpose of religion. Any religion. The purpose of religion is to be closer to God.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. That's true. I love that. Have you ever reinvented yourself because you were afraid people wouldn't accept the real version of you?
Yes, but I don't know if reinvention was the right word. So when I first started doing comedy, it was an insanely misogynistic environment, even worse than it is now. And I did a show at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. So I love dressing up. I love dressing up. I love wearing heels. I love wearing cute dresses. I love wearing makeup. I love wearing lashes. And I was a very cute girl. And I did a show at the Laugh Factory, and I had like a low cut blouse on. It wasn't like super crazy. It just like I had some cleavage showing, and I had makeup on, and I looked cute. And I went up on stage and the front row was all women. And before I even opened my mouth, the entire front row of women crossed their arms, crossed their legs, and physically tried to not laugh at me.
Wow.
And I was like, that's weird. It was just really weird, right? So then I had a show at the Hollywood Improv, and I had a similar experience. And my friend Siddiqui Fuller, who's passed away, rest in peace, Siddiqui, who's a hilarious comedian from the Bay Area, he said, I told him what happened. And he said, yeah, of course. He goes, you're a cute girl. And I said, well, what does that mean? And he pulled me over to the wall and he pointed at a picture of Sarah Silverman. Sarah Silverman's very beautiful. In the photo, she was covered up head to toe like a nun. She had a zip-up hoodie on, totally covered, no makeup.
Wow.
He pointed to a picture of Margaret Cho. Margaret Cho is a very, very beautiful woman. Covered up, head to toe, looked like a nun. He pointed to another photo of Janine Garofalo. Covered up, head to toe like a nun. He said, Rosie, people don't want to laugh at attractive women.
Wow.
And I was shocked, but I saw that to be true at the time. Things have changed a lot for the better. And so I reinvented myself, your original question, for the worse. And what I did was from 19 to 30 something, I dressed extremely down as a comedian. I always wore a hoodie. I always wore a button up. I tried to cover myself. I didn't want to wear makeup. And my sets got funnier and people laughed at me more. But I did feel like I betrayed myself because I wasn't a plain Jane. I wasn't a boring, covered up person. And I felt the need to do that because I had many experiences. And I saw it. There was a wonderful comedian. I don't want to say her name because I actually don't know if it's appropriate to tell this story, and I don't want to out her in that way. But she's a Hispanic female comedian, beautiful woman, hilarious, national headliner. And I did a show with her in Long Beach, and she had a very sexy, slinky dress on. And she went on stage, and I saw it with her. People didn't want to laugh.
Wow.
And I think, with Nikki Glaser, with Eliza Schlesinger, with Whitney Cummings, things have changed. People have seen a lot more attractive and beautiful women in the mainstream doing comedy. So things have changed. But I think there still is that weird discrimination. It's like a weird thing, like where people, they want to judge you. It's like you can't be attractive and funny. It's like you have too much.
Yeah.
We got to knock you down a peg. And so I did reinvent myself for the worst. And I think now I'm more confident to be myself. And I do dress up and wear makeup on stage and look cute.
Yes. So what was that turning point where you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to look hot. I'm going to go on stage and I don't care what you think. What was like?
The turning point was getting old and not caring anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm old. I don't care. I don't care what you people think of me. I think that was when I switched from being a taker to a giver. I was like, you know what? This is me. And because I think a lot of people think comedy is comedy. They go, oh, well, comedy is comedy. You're funny or you're not funny. And that's not true. Comedy is like music, right? There's metal, there's country, there's pop, there's gospel. Not everyone likes metal. Not everyone likes pop. Not everyone likes classical. Some people just like their type of music. And so every comedian is not just a comedian. Some comedians are different genres of comedy. Right? We're all different types of comedy. And if someone doesn't like me, it doesn't mean they don't like me. Maybe they don't like metal, or maybe they don't like pop. I don't like heavy metal. If you took me to the best heavy metal group in the entire world and brought me to the concert, I would be like, I don't like this. And so not taking things personally and realizing, hey, this is me. This is who I am. I wear makeup. I wear pink. I'm a little Hello Kitty girl. And if you don't like my comedy, you just don't like my comedy. It has nothing to do with me. I'm here to make you laugh and bring my brand of humor and make you smile. And if you don't like it, that's okay. Not everyone likes heavy metal. Not everyone likes pop.
Yeah. Wow.
And comics, I think we think you're funny or you're not funny. And there's people that do one-liners. There's people that tell stories on stage.
Yeah.
There's people that do musical comedy and play the guitar. There's so many different types of comedy.
Yes.
And we, as a society, we just say comedy's comedy. no, comedy's not comedy. Comedy's like music. There's like 20,000 different genres.
Wow, that's so good. Yeah. I know for me, like, I had this turning point in my life that everyone was talking like so much negativity and a lot of crap that it brought me down. So
Yeah.
I know.
Punch in the face.
Yeah, I mean, it was so bad that it got to me in my head. I started feeling so insecure and I was always worried about what people thought about me. I remember feeling so depressed, like, oh my gosh. Like, I just remember being on my bed and I was like staring at the ceiling and something came over me where I was like, I can either continue to listen to the voices and the opinions of others, or I can just not care. Because that point was leading me to a really, really dark place.
Was it about comedy or was it about your life? People were making comments about your life.
In my career as an adult star, right? So that epiphany was so crazy because at that moment I made a decision, like thinking like, do I want to go this way and go crazy downward spiral, or do I just not want to care? And the moment I decided to, I don't know, just like make that decision and not care, I felt so free. I was like, you know what? I think I just love who I am.
And you have to really not care though. You have to, because there was a time where I was like, oh, I don't care, but I really did care.
Yeah.
But now I really don't care. And really not caring is the most caring thing in the world. Right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to have an opinion. And here's the thing, Christy, half of those people aren't even living the right life for them. How do they know what right life you have to live?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You know? Yeah. Because all you can be is the best version of yourself, not the best version of what they think you should be. Oh my gosh. If we all listened to what everyone thought, we would be too crazy. Yeah. All right, lovers, let me pause the story for a quick second. If you're enjoying the podcast so far, make sure you follow the show and leave a rating and review. Because let me tell you, that actually helps the podcast grow and helps more people discover this beautiful, chaotic little corner of the internet we've created together. And listen, I'm going to start doing something fun. If you leave a review, take a screenshot and send it to me on Instagram, because every month I'm going to randomly pick one of my lovers and send you something fun. I don't know what it'll be. It might be merch. It might be a shout out on a podcast. It might be tickets to a comedy show. Honestly, I haven't decided yet, but surprises are part of the experience. So go follow the podcast, leave a rating and review, screenshot it, send it to me, and can I just say you might just get a little love back from me. All right, lovers, now let's get back to the story. Oh, what is the darkest joke you've ever told someone that maybe even shocked you?
Oh, I don't know if I've ever told anyone a dark joke. I have some dark jokes in my act.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've just been pretty open, like you don't care. You're like,
yeah, you know, when I started comedy, I told you I didn't know what stand-up comedy was, and that's the truth. I was, my high school fiance, he wanted to be a comedian, and I didn't know what stand-up comedy was. And when I started, so there's been different waves of who's popular, but when I started comedy, it was like Jim Norton and Greg Giraldo and Colin Quinn and Patrice O'Neill and all these really dark, edgy New York comics were like really big. And so that's who I kind of was watching because that's who was popular when I started. And so I think it influenced me a little bit that to look at dark things. And, you know, I had so many bad things happen to me in my early 20s, like a lot of bad things. Like I said, being assaulted, being in an abusive relationship, and so much trauma. And I think that I was in a very dark place in my early 20s. And, you know, a lot of people, especially in Hollywood, idolize youth. And I wouldn't, if someone couldn't pay me $1 billion to go back to my 20s, I'm so much happier now. I was just in such a dark place. So I think I kind of grew up with like that dark humor. when I started comedy.
Oh,
That's
really?
what was popular, yeah.
Wow. Do you feel like when you started, you feel like your comedy evolved?
I feel like my comedy is so much lighter now.
Mm.
And that was one of the issues I had. I remember I had a joke about my ex beating the crap out of me. And I did it. I was performing at the Comedy Underground in Olympia, Washington. And one of my friends was there. He's a comic. And he goes, Rosie, that's a really funny joke. And he's like, it's not that we don't believe you, but I was like a 20-year-old, like really cute little like Asian girl. And so it was just so shocking coming out of my mouth. And he said, I think the audience has a really hard time relating to you because your humor is so dark and you're so like cute. Because I was like really like, and I think he was right. And I didn't have to change who I was, but I had to abandon a lot of my material because it was so dark. And I think I was the wrong package for it. And I changed my comedy a little bit. It's still, I think, edgy, but it's more me. It's less angry. I think my stand-up was a little angry when I started.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Do you like how you evolved in your comedy routines from being a little bit more darker of the humor to a little bit lighter? Or did you like the dark humor because that was like you taking your life events and just making fun of it?
Yeah, I think it was very empowering for me personally, but I think it was very alienating for the audience. I think it was very, very difficult for people to mentally reconcile and you know, it sounds like I'm like, oh, I was so cute. I was like a really cute 19-year-old. Like I looked like I was 12. I mean, I'm Asian, right? So I was like, I looked like a 12-year-old girl and I'm up there like raging. And so I think it was very hard for the audience to reconcile because they saw a very physically attractive, cute 19-year-old girl and they're like, why is she so angry? You know? And so I think even though the material was physically sound, like the jokes were funny and they had the good structure because I was really into joke writing, I think it was very hard for the audience to reconcile that with what I physically looked like. And I think, so I think that it was a wise move for me to kind of shift my material a little bit more. And so I trick the audience a little bit more now. I'm still me and I'm very bubbly and positive and upbeat, but then I slip in like little things here. Yeah. I think it's easier. It's an easier pill for the audience to swallow.
Wow. That's amazing to, I mean, yeah, I guess people would be shocked. Like you have such dark humor, but you look like so cute on the outside. So I guess that could be very shocking.
I just think it was really like what my friend Paul, who helped me write some material, he said, it's just not believable coming from you. He goes, I believe as your friend that these things happen to you, but it's almost like people didn't want to, not that they didn't believe me, but they didn't want to hear it from me. I have a friend, he's a Black comedian. He's very, very clean. He's very clean and his material is very, very smart. And he looks like a thug. And he kind of said the same thing because I had talked to him about it. He said, people want me to go up there and use the N-word and curse and say certain things because I look like this. He goes, I'm a big Black guy. Yeah. And he said, and they're very surprised when my comedy is so clean and clever and thoughtful. And it takes the audience a while. Like he has to like get them on board with him because I mean, we act like we're so evolved as people, but we still have our biases and our stereotypes. And so when people saw him as a very big Black man that looks very thuggish, they want to hear the Def Jam comedy. They want to hear BET comedy. And they're very shocked to hear clean, clever, smart comedy. And that's horrible. A Black man should be able to be smart and clever. Just like a young Asian woman should be able to be angry and whatever. But people have their preconceived stereotypes. And so he brings them along and they get on board with him. But he said he gets that a lot where he has to really drag the audience on board with him.
Wow. I wonder if you did your dark comedy, but you dressed emo, like how would the crowd react? Like,
I think maybe they would be more on board with it, but that's not me. I'm pink. I'm pink glitter.
I was just thinking, I wonder how would they respond?
But I do think that's not really me. I think at that time that was me, but there's such a lightness to me now. Like I'm so healed and so happy. I mean, I wasn't always like this, but I'm so healed now. I've done so much work on myself. I've gone back to God. I've gone to therapy, and I think, I'm so happy where I am. And it sounds so cliche, but I'm really happy.
Wow, I love that. I remember hearing that you wrote a book about meditation.
I did.
Yeah, I would love to hear more about that because 2 years ago, I went through this journey of like, I want to learn more about meditation because I hear it's so empowering. It clears up your mind. You're more focused throughout the day. Tell me about what inspired you to start writing this book about meditation? How did you get into meditation?
So I got into meditation through my spiritual practice, but I will clarify that it is a meditative prayer book.
Oh,
so it's a little bit different than meditation. So traditional meditation is like you try to quiet your mind and you do deep breathing. And I personally like to do guided meditation because I have such a monkey brain and my brain like doesn't stop. And so guided meditation has been super helpful for me. So the book that I wrote, it's 52 Weeks to Meditation. It's on Amazon. Ooh. And it's more about meditative prayer. So the way that my book is that I have a thought for the week, and then I ask you to meditate on my weekly meditative prayer thought.
Oh, wow. So
it's a little bit different.
Yeah. How long ago did you write the book?
I wrote it a couple of years ago. So it's a little old, but yeah, it has all the spiritual messages that I needed to tell myself.
Wow. So it's very personable for you.
It's very personal. I just wrote it because I felt called to do it. And it was, like I said, what I needed to hear for myself.
Wow.
And I said, if I put it out there, if someone buys it, if they don't, if they do, whatever, I'm just going to put it out there. It's something that I feel drawn to do spiritually.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Wow. That's amazing. Do you think people are more addicted to validation or love?
I think it depends on the person. Yeah, it depends on the person. Me, I want love. I don't care about validation anymore. I validate myself. God validates me. Yeah.
Yes,
I want love.
that.
I want to give love. I want to be love. I want to be with Christy Love.
Yes.
I think love is so powerful and it heals everything. It heals hatred. It heals anger. And I think we need more love. I think the world is too divisive right now. I think people are too angry. They're too depressed. And there's no reason to be. I think we live in an amazing world and there's some bad things out there, but there's always going to be bad things. You can't tell me things are worse now than they were, 2000 years ago when we didn't have any rights whatsoever and everyone was like, a slave basically. So I think that the ego or the devil, whatever you want to call it, is very powerful and it convinces us that things are absolutely terrible.
Yes.
And they're not.
Yeah. And I truly believe that what you focus on, what you becomes greater in your life. So if we focus on so much on the hatred, then it becomes greater in our life. If we focus on so much of the love, then that becomes greater in our life.
So you asked what's more addictive, validation or love? I think people are addicted to drama.
Oh, that's good.
I think our society, people are addicted to drama.
Yes. I agree because I was reading this, I think it was an article or YouTube or something I was reading. I can't remember where I got the information, but like how people would make up things to grow their social media just to create some type of drama. And I think you saying that people are addicted to drama, I absolutely agree with that.
They're absolutely addicted to drama. That is why people feed off of the algorithms, right? Outrage. People want outrage. And I think that that's very sad because, right, it's like the metaphor of like, oh, a plane crashed. Well, thousands of planes fly every year and none of them crash, but you're focusing on the plane that crashed. Yeah. And so I think that there's so much love and there's so many beautiful people inside, physically beautiful and inside internally with big hearts and want to give and want to help. And I think, people will focus on, oh, well, the president said this, or this person said this, or this reality star said this, and it's so horrible. And we're all in attack, and LGBTQ are under attack, and women are under attack, and this person said, when really that it's like 0.001%, but the media is amplifying it for clicks and likes. And so people feel like, well, that's what's happening. And that's not what's happening. I travel all over the place. I'm from the South. I rarely experience racism as an Asian woman. I mean, people say stupid stuff, but that's because people are stupid. But I don't think that people have this like hate in their heart and all this other stuff. I do think that there's a lot of drama. And I think that the internet can amplify the worst voices. And I think that the internet loves to take people's words out of context and twist them for clips. You know, a few years ago, there was a clip that went viral with Tony Robbins. And he had said to this woman, she had been sexually assaulted, and he had said, don't be a victim. And she was saying, she went on all the news cycles and she had said, Tony Robbins said, I'm not a victim, I was assaulted. And I went back and I watched the clip. It was a 20-minute clip that they clipped into 30 seconds.
Wow.
And I watched the 20-minute clip, and he didn't say that at all. He said, which is in alignment with his values, do not let yourself become victimized and make it your identity.
Wow.
So what he was telling her was that you were victimized, you were a victim, but don't make it your identity.
Wow.
And it was a very empowering and lovely 20-minute clip. And the woman went on social media and went online and said, Tony Robbins said, I'm not a victim. Well, I was assaulted. And then he got canceled for a little bit and everyone was bashing him. And this is a man who's dedicated his life to personal development and empowerment.
Yes.
And he absolutely did not say that. I watched the clip. And how many people that canceled him and sent him nasty messages online watched the full clip? Probably none of them.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Okay, what scares you more, failure or irrelevance? What would you say?
I would say irrelevance scares me more. I think failure can be awesome.
Okay.
I failed at a bunch of stuff, and it just showed me that I was in the wrong direction. I need to go the other direction.
Wow, that's so good. Yeah. I remember talking to someone who said they have a hard time handling failure. So I like that your perspective is, I'm okay. I just learned from it. That's a great perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I failed at a lot of things, and I just realized it wasn't the right thing for me, or it wasn't. In fact, you want to fail very quickly, because then you know that that's not for you and you move on to what's for you.
Yeah.
You don't want to drag. I think the worst thing you can do, which a lot of people do, is they deny the failure and they keep trying to make things work, and they cling on and cling on and cling on. And then, you know, you're 10 years down the line in the wrong marriage, or you're whatever, 10 years down the line in the wrong career.
That's a good point. Yeah, because if you don't fail fast enough, you wasted so
you
much
of your fast and you want to get out of Dodge. Yeah.
Wow.
You're like, I'm not good at this.
Yes, that is good. Wow. That is another drop the mic right there. Woo.
But I think irrelevance means, that what you're doing doesn't matter. And I think that, but I think that's also a little bit of a fake thing, because I think if it matters to you, then it matters.
Yeah. I agree. Do you feel like that people want truth more or comfort?
Oh, they want comfort, Christy.
Yes,
people don't want the truth. What is it? You can't handle the truth.
Yes.
People don't want truth. I want the truth.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think I'm a small, there's a small percentage of people that want the truth. I think people want to be comfortable. They want to be comfortable. They don't want to change. They don't want to admit failure. They don't want to admit mistakes. And I think that's something that's really bad. I think comfort is bad.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
You don't want to be comfortable. You want to be uncomfortable. And if you're uncomfortable, it means you're out of your comfort zone. If you're out of your comfort zone, it means you're doing something amazing.
Yes, I agree 100%. Wow, that's good. Yeah. All right. So let me ask you, what is something you feel like you're still healing from that people would never guess?
I don't know, Chrissy. I don't know how to answer that question. We might have to come back to it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I know something for me, I realize that I am healing from, well, I'm healing from a lot actually. I lack being detailed oriented and the fear of responsibility, which is crazy because I do a lot. And having to take on more responsibility is so scary for me. But
Really?
yeah, because I felt like, I think for me, I think I've just been told like stay safe, play it safe all my life. You know, don't take risk. And I was kind of raised like that, like don't take risks, just play it the safe way. Like for the Asian culture, you know, go to college, become the doctor, become the nurse, you know, play it safe. And then becoming an entertainer is like, you're not playing it safe, right? So just having that mindset and that fear of risk, the fear of taking responsibility, I actually am living out of, like growing from that area. So that's like,
Awesome.
yeah.
You're self-actualizing. Okay. All right. Maybe that helps me a little bit. I think that's something that I am still healing from is your question, right? Still
yeah.
healing from is expressing my sexuality. And not necessarily being pansexual, just sexuality in general.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I started an OnlyFans when I turned 40. I'm 42.
Woo.
Yay! And it's very PG-17. I model in lingerie and bikinis, and I chat with fans and stuff like that. But, you know, I was always told I was, so this is not to toot my own horn, but I was very cute in my 20s. But
and still are.
Thank you,
yes.
Chrissy. But I did not know I was. I was told that I was ugly.
Oh.
I was told that I was unattractive. I was told by family members, and I was also made to feel like that, I think, by a culture that at the time was obsessed with, and these women are beautiful as well, but obsessed with blonde hair, blue eyes. I felt like the all-American girl was the stereotype of what was considered beautiful when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And so I think that my OnlyFans has helped me so much, and people judge so much. Like you would not even believe, like I'm not in the adult film industry, but even when I say I do OnlyFans, I get people that are very judgmental towards it. And I'm okay with that.
Oh, good. Okay.
Being an OnlyFans girl.
Yeah. I love that. So what would it look like to you to be free from sexuality? Like you said, you feel like you wish you could be more open. What would that look like?
Yeah, I feel like I'm still in the closet in a lot of ways. Not about my sexuality, my sexual orientation, but I feel like I'm in the closet, like in a way, because I can't, you know, I still have people in my family who are very conservative and religiously, like I can't be myself in that way.
Yeah,
you know, I can't go to the cookout and talk about my OnlyFans, the family reunion or whatever. Many people in my family are aware that I do it, but I'm not comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable to talk about it with my family. I don't feel comfortable to talk about it with my mother. And that's okay. But it's like, I don't like that because I'm a very open person.
So you just want to come to a place where you could just be like, I'm going to talk about this, and I'm comfortable talking about this no matter where I'm at.
Yes. I think I feel comfortable talking with you. I feel comfortable talking on podcasts. I feel comfortable talking to fans. But really, yeah, my family, I think, and some of my friends from my past, I think childhood friends and things like that, I think I feel uncomfortable because they see me through a certain lens, I think.
Oh, wow. And do you feel like if they saw your openness, that they would feel different about you? Maybe they might feel like they might love you less. They might not care. They might not care for you less.
I don't think they would love me less, but I do think that there are members of my life, people, I guess members of my life, members of my, not necessarily my family, but people in my life that I love very dearly, but that are very judgmental. So I don't know that they would love me less, but it's like, you just don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with hearing the opinions that I don't care. Their opinion of me, because I do OnlyFans, isn't going to change me doing OnlyFans. So there's no reason to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm modeling and chatting with people. You know, some people would frown on that. They would say, oh, you're cheating on your husband by chatting with men online. I'm not, you know, doing anything that's inappropriate. But people have an image and a stereotype of OnlyFans. I love OnlyFans. I think it's great for creators.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be sexualized. It could be whatever you want it to be.
Exactly. I mean, I have female friends that are female comedians and they don't post any sexual content at all. They post only comedy content. That's not what my OnlyFans is. I post, you know, I would say PG-17 content. It's not even R. I don't do any nude photos. I don't do any sexual stuff, but there are people that will judge me because I have an OnlyFans without even knowing the content. I could be completely covered up from head to toe. And if I said I have an OnlyFans, they would judge me.
Yeah, no, I understand. When my mom found out, well, both my parents found out that I went into the adult industry, my mom had a heart attack. Oh my God. And we fought for I think, so I've been in it for 14 years. We fought for a good 13 years. Yeah. Right?
About it.
Yeah. I mean, it was really horrible, this back and forth going on with this battle. My dad reacted more I don't approve of it, but I love you where you're at, so I'm not going to mistreat you. But my mom, she's the Asian one, straight up Korean, she took it so hard. So she's scolding me every time I would talk to her. She would bring it up. She would be like, I'm a horrible mom, and start blaming herself. I mean, this went on for so long that to the point I could not take it anymore, because I was like, I just want to be around my parents and have a great time, or not at all, because it was destroying me.
And that's what I mean by you, because your question was, what is something that you're healing from still? Yeah. And it's not necessarily that I'm healing from it because it can never be healed, because I can only be comfortable with myself. And those people in my family cannot be comfortable with it. They're not going to change. And so I guess maybe healing is the wrong word, but I'm searching for acceptance, not of myself, but accepting them, I guess, that they cannot accept it.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I came to a point where I told my mom I couldn't handle it anymore because it was destroying me. I told her, I said, you either love me for who I am, or we cannot talk until I quit the industry. Because I told her straight up, I said, I feel like you're treating me like I'm a sinner, not your daughter. I just told her that straight up. It was a hard conversation to have. And I said, so what do you want to do, Mom? Should I call you when I decide to retire, or can we get along? And finally, she said she chose to get along, and we don't bring it up, but
sometimes you can't bring things up.
Yeah, it was a very hard conversation. So I can relate to how this can be an ongoing thing, and just they'll always love you, but you'll always feel
it's not that about them loving you less. It's just sometimes you just don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear the judgments. You don't want to hear it for your own mental health.
Yes.
For your own spiritual health. You're like, this is a decision that's right for me. I don't need to hear your opinion. And the irony is that most people have something in their life too, but I'm not going to go around saying, well, you do this, you do that, because that's not who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's one of my relatives that would probably say that I'm a horrible person, if we were to bring it up, this person is divorced multiple times and has all sorts of issues and has cheated on their spouse. But you don't see me going around bringing that up, and I'm not going to, because I'm not that kind of person. So, it's just, it's more about not necessarily healing, but I think accepting that they're never going to be able to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And let me ask you, what kind of woman, what kind of woman do you want to become? What is a woman that you see yourself right now? And is it the person that you want to be, or is there more improvement that you want to work on in your life?
So there's always more improvement.
Uh-huh.
And I think that if you stop improving, when we stop improving, we die.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I always want to improve. That being said, I'm getting pretty freaking close to the woman I want to be, and I'm pretty proud of her. And it's taken me a really long time.
Wow. And who is that woman that you see yourself as?
Someone that is just living her life authentically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. Someone that's living her life authentically and empowering others. And yeah, just authenticity is so important to me, because for so long, like I said, I was in the closet, again, not necessarily my sexual orientation, but of who I was as a person, I think, because I wasn't clear on it. And now I'm completely clear. And I've become clear because of the failures, because of the bad relationships, because of all the wrong turns I took. I went down the wrong paths, and I was like, oh, this is the wrong path. And now I'm on the super highway, super clear path.
Yeah, I love it. And I want to ask, in your darkest point, when you said you were like, in your 20s, you had the really like toughest time. If you could speak to her right now, and what would you say to her? What advice would you say to her?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I would give her advice as more as if I would just grab her and shake her and slap her across the face. Stop listening to other people. Stop questioning yourself. Stop being with people that are below you. Stop being scared that you're not going to find your way.
Wow. Yeah.
I would slap her across the face and say, what are you doing? You're so much better than this. You're so much smarter than this.
Oh, wow. I love that. Yes.
I would say, stop it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that was good. So I just want to say thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I've learned so much from you in this podcast, so much wisdom. And I'll also have a gift for you.
Oh.
And here we go. I hope you like it.
Do you want me to open it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see. Ooh, uh-oh. Let's see. What is this? Wow. Can I read this on air?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I don't know if there's something private in here. Thank you.
Oh, of course.
To Rosie, thank you so much for taking the time to be a guest on the podcast. I know how valuable your time is, and I truly appreciate your willingness to share your story, wisdom, humor, and experiences with my audience. I've always admired your authenticity. Oh! And the way you bring both intelligence and heart to everything you do. I'm excited for our conversation and grateful for the opportunity to learn from you and laugh with you. Thank you again, and saying yes, I can't wait. Love, Christy. Whoa, what's this? Is this tickets to the Chinese theater?
Yes.
Wow. All right,
So
I'm excited.
I hope you enjoy. And
I will. Do you want me to?
oh, yeah, go
okay,
for
okay.
it.
Let's see. Ooh, what is this? Oh, tea.
It is,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. When you put it in the cup, it looks like it's like in a jacuzzi in your tea. It's so cute.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
All right. Unpack this. Let's see. Wow. Christy, what's going on here? You're being so generous.
Oh.
Let's see. Whoa! I love these.
Oh,
I could have used
yay.
this to sign the contract.
Oh, perfect.
They're gel pens. All right, you knew I was a little Asian girl. Whoa! What is this? Oh, more tea. I'm going to be hyped up on caffeine.
Oh. I was like, it's rose tea for Rosie. I hope you like rose tea.
Okay.
Yes.
How sweet. All right, let's see. Final gift. I think I know what this is. This is for my spiritual journey.
Yay!
More journaling. This might be my next book.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a hug.
Oh, of course.
I'm very sweaty.
Woo.
I'm sweaty.
Oh,
Thank you so much,
yes.
Christy.
Thank you. What do you want to promote for yourself? Is there anything you want to tell the audience where they can find you, what you're promoting?
Yes, I want everyone to go on Tubi or Amazon and watch my TV show, Rosie Tran Presents. It is a 10-episode series where I interview comedians and they do stand-up.
Woo! Awesome. And I will obviously put all her socials in the link. So yes, thank you again so much for being a part of this podcast. Oh my gosh.
Thanks
it
for
was
having me.
so wonderful.
Yay!
All right, lovers, before I end it here, remember this: whether you love me or love to hate me, you're still one of my lovers. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow the podcast, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another lover or ex-lover in your life. Anyways, just know Jesus loves you, and so do I. And remember, lovers, you're never alone in this bed. I'll see you next time in bed with Christy Love.